If anybody has any questions, there is a chat box you can type your questions into, and somebody will be monitoring that. Probably. I'll try to. But what I want to get into here today, it's not the normal Tuesday meeting where I go over the other trade setups like the 128s, 164s, and 137s. I can go over that as well. Hang on. Recording. There, I hit the record button. That was for you, Mukesh. What I want to go over is just the simplicity of the YBR trade, and you know, I'll trade it right now with you if I see something reasonable come up, and I'll even do multiple contracts, which is something that I don't typically do in the room in the morning, because I don't want you guys doing that. If you're not ready for it, I don't want you doing that. Okay, but I mean, this is all about making money. So the YBR trade is really, really simple. Okay. All you need is the right color, the down close, and the separation. Now, if you have, there are things that overlap, trade setups that overlap. But if you have this right here, see, we've hit the BBC, we got a down close, and here we actually hit the YBR. You don't have to actually hit the YBR. But yesterday I was in a meeting with Ray, I think, right, Ray? I think. Let me see. Yes, it was you. And this right here was something that we discussed yesterday. If the bar is totally above the BBC, and this is not going to the YBR trade, this is going to the BBC trade. If the bar is totally above the BBC, but the black step line is still below the BBC, and you get your down close and you have your bearish separation red on the cycle, that is a valid trade right there. That was something that we went over yesterday. I don't know if you can. I can give you the charts if you wanna show something. I can open up your mic and give you the charts. But hang on. I'm not sure about pasting a picture. You can try. Who says I have no audio? Jake, everybody else hears me. Oh, here he is. Why don't I keep typos? Okay, no, go back to everyone. Okay. But this is what we were talking about yesterday, Ray. You get the bar that is all the way up above the BBC. That's still a valid trade. And here, you know, it doesn't have to actually hit the YBR. You know, and a lot of times it won't. You'll just get the right color on the YBR. Okay, you can just look back on ES to 1327. Yeah, okay. Well, I'm gonna go over all the markets, but you know, if I'm actually gonna trade something, then it's got to give me the right setup, and it's not setting up here on gold right now. But right here, we had red on the YBR with a down close, bearish separation, and you only need one of those. You only need one of those a day. Get your goal for the day with multiple contracts. Over here, blue on the YBR with an up close. Again, you only need one. Hang on, let me go back there so I can show you. This blue on the YBR had an up close, and the cycle you see is going down a little bit right here. I was going down too steep for me to do the morning trades, but not the YBR trades. Okay, and a lot of times the YBR trades are going to be like this bar right here, pulled completely below the BBC, and that other one that I showed you back wherever it was completely above the BBC. But this is the simplest trade setup like ever, and I know a lot of you guys are doing really well with it. Right here we had red on the YBR with a down close, and down it went. over here, right on the YBR, just a little bit of bearish separation. This is kind of messy and risky right here, but it still worked out. Same thing right here, same exact thing right there. Over here, blue on the YBR with an up close, and that worked out. And it's really the simplicity in the setup. I don't know why I didn't actually tell everybody all about this. I mean, I created it like 8 years ago, and I've been using it, and I've been showing people how to use it when I get into one-on-ones if they ask about it. But I think it's time I just tell you about it, and, you know, instead of waiting for you to ask. Can we work one just using the YBR without the BBC? Yeah. Here, let's do this. Just remove that. Here you go. And then remove the support and resistance dots too. And we'll just do the YBR and the slingshot. Okay. So just the YBR and the slingshot. So what you want to have is good separation here. Now it's better if the brown line is really divergent from the green line as well. Hang on. Now you always got to have some sort of divergence down there. Divergence in the direction you want to go. I mean, look at this one right here. See blue on the YBR, up close, pretty good divergence. Bang. Red right here, down close, pretty good divergence. And you know, you don't need to have the CFRN or the BBC and all that other stuff. You don't need to have all that. This trade setup is just so incredibly simple. All you need to have is the right color, the right close, and the right separation. We don't have the separation down here. But let me see. See right here, right color, up close, and separation. What you anticipate is that the green line, again, is going to get all the way up into the cycle, and when it does, you'll have a higher swing in place. Now, this happens over and over and over and over and over again, every day. So don't overtrade. Okay. Yeah, you still use the same 8 tick risk, and you move your stop to break even after you get 4 ticks in profit. Okay. Is separation between cycle and green line? It's the green line and the cycle is the important thing. But if you get separation between the green line, the brown line, and the cycle, those tend to work. Sorry, I have hiccups. Those tend to work out better. Those tend to work out better. But I mean, this is the euro. You know, boring euro. And look at how many opportunities you had. You know, there is really no reason you can't make money using this trade setup. I'm gonna throw the basic template back on.
While you do that, I noticed that a couple of them would have been move your stop to break even, and then there was a second entry. Do we want to have the higher high requirement before we take those? The second?
Not really.
Okay.
And I mean, that's a good question, because you know, the trend is determined by the YBR in this case. If you're above it, you're going long. If you're below it, you're going short. And so, like right here, you know, this was kind of questionable because the cycle was going down so steep. But we had that right there, and then followed up by another one with the cycle going down so steep. But there's still separation. So that worked, but it didn't put in a higher swing. And that was followed by this one, but the separation was bad. And that was followed by this one that still didn't put in a higher swing. But you had good separation. Not great, but good. And that one worked out just fine. And that was followed by this one that finally put in the higher high. And that was followed by this one that had good separation. And, you know, that one took off like a rocket. And that was followed by, I was going to say that was followed by this one. This is a trend line trade. But that was followed by this one, which worked out just fine. And this right here will, you know, I know I don't have all the stuff on there, but I do know that that would have been a trend line trade right there. That you could have grabbed that with. This is, I mean, I'm sorry that I didn't talk about it in the past. Really, really, I'm sorry, because I answered so many questions about so many other things, and this is the simplest thing there is. Angular color cycle does not matter. The color of the cycle doesn't matter. I don't like it to be, I don't like it to be going down really steep, but I mean, it still works out. What the YBR is telling you when it gets the color, it's telling you that price is pulled away from the direction of all the indicators, and it's probably going to snap back. And most of the time it's going to do that. So, oh man, let me put the template back. I got started with it, but I didn't finish. Here we go. I think it is basic one. Yeah, basic one is what I usually use. Okay, now that's going to load up. There. And we can go to any market you want. And why can't I move this chat box? I used to be able to remove it so I could spread it out. Well, I'm trying, but I can't do it. Can you do it?
I'm checking, but I don't see anything.
Well, anyway. Here would uh-oh. Uh-oh. I don't have my phone, and I thought I just heard it start buzzing. But oh well, I'll deal with that later. Now I have meetings this afternoon, so if you guys have more questions, yes, it is being recorded, Casey. But if you guys have questions, throw them out there right now, and I'll try to answer everything that you have. Okay. And we've got a pretty good crowd in here, more people than we normally get in the afternoon session. So ask away. Okay. You see, the slingshot's not right for short trades here.
Okay, Odom wants to know if rules apply for high and low of the day.
Again, going into the high and low of the day, no matter what trade setup you're using, it's your risk management strategy. Do you have enough room to get your stop to break even? Okay, now I don't mind trading into the high of the day or the low of the day, as long as I have enough room between my entry and the high of the day or the low of the day to get my stop to break even. That's just my rule. It doesn't have to be your rule, but it's Tim, let me answer your question in just a minute. The brown line is the S1 cycle. S1 cycle. Okay, the green line is the S1 fast. If you go in here, the brown line is right here. S1 cycle. Okay. How do you actually enter the trade? Okay, well, I'm going to answer two questions at once here. And Clayton says, why they fail.
He wanted to know about using it on minute charts. Would we apply the same?
Oh, well, on minute charts, the risk management is going to be different.
Correct.
And I'll show you that in a minute. Yeah. Okay. One where the slingshot is not right. Right here. Right here. Right here. All three of these right here. The slingshot's not right to take the trade. I wish I could spread this darn thing out. I mean, all you guys are asking, you're all asking good and valid questions, and I want to answer everything. But I know I'm not seeing everything. Do you have traders that are just trading YBR? Yes. Show you some that fail and explain why those failed. Well, that's a challenge, and that's a good thing.
Yeah, price doesn't continue.
Right here. Now, this wasn't an actual trade, okay? But down here, it looks like everything was working out, and then you got an up close right here. This one failed, okay? Right here. Yeah, I don't know if it would have stopped out. I mean, what market am I on? Crude. 25 down to 15. Yeah, that would have stopped you out to the tick, but then it went and did what it should have done. And then it turned around and tried to give you something on the short side, but it just was, it was all choppy in here. So if I was talking and going over this stuff live in real time, I would have been saying, I don't really like this here. I don't want to trade here. And remember, there's always going to be another trade. So if it doesn't set up just right, don't trade it. You know, if you want to do like Ray, I know when he trades this, he likes the cycle to be the right color. He likes to have good separation, and he likes the cycle to be the right color. And that's what he and his wife right now are both watching us. And has separation in the slingshot. This one right here, is that what you're referring to? Hal? We have a meeting tomorrow, right? Let me see. Yeah, tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And we can go over all this. Now, there's other things that I've been doing that, you know, I've always done it, but it's all in my head and I never say it out loud because I don't want to confuse people. But I mean, right now we're going to go to 64 and a quarter. 64 and a quarter is where the ES is going to go. I was just going to say 54.70 on the euro, and gold is kind of mixed right here, but it wants to get down to 42.8 and it wants to get up to 44.6. Crude oil, 42 and a quarter, and on the downside, 42.08. Okay, and that's just from reading the DOM. Now, the chart setup has to give you, the charts have to give you the trade setup. And so like right now, it's looking like the ES wants to go short because we have separation right here. And I don't think it's gonna. I think it's gonna go up a little higher, 65 and a half now. I said 65 and a quarter a minute ago, but I think now it's gonna be 65 and a half. And that's the pullback point. And then it wants to drop down to 63 and a half. Okay, but you have to trade what's in front of you. I can tell you what I think is going to happen, but you can't trade. You can't trade what I think is going to happen. Trade what the indicators are telling you. I'm usually pretty accurate about this stuff. I mean, my stuff is, Dwayne does it on a larger time frame, and I just can't think. I can't stay focused that long on a larger time frame. But I don't sit at my desk all day. I have teenage kids that have needs. I mean, like now after I have this meeting with Odom this afternoon, Jake's got to go get a sports physical because they started workouts again. And so, I just during this, there was a period where I wasn't actually doing anything. Well, I was actually doing stuff. I had to go get flea medicine for the cats. And I stopped at the urgent care place to find out if he could just get his physical today, with no reservation. But anyway, sorry, my life again. You have two laptops going and the two chat boxes are different. I only see one. You got the other one. There's go to webinar and go to meeting. And go to webinar, it's a more reliable one than go to meeting. But that's just 65.5. That's what I thought it was going to do. Now it should fail off of this down to 64.25, but it might go all the way up to 67. But you see, we got the red on the YBR right there. Now let me just do this. Okay, hit cancel on that. We have red on the YBR there. Now, right here, this is going to answer a couple of questions that I didn't get to yet, but this is from Ray and Deb. 65.75, the down close is going to be 64.75. So what you do is throw a sell stop down here at 64.50. Okay, and my 8-tick stop is still in place. See that big number right there? It's probably going to try to get there, but the charts are saying it's likely to go down right here. So I'm getting ready for it to go down. Okay, so you can look at the DOM and read the DOM, but you also have to look at the charts and take the trade setups off the chart. Bill, hang on. I hate that I can't remove this. Expand.
Yeah, no, it's like in the Mac version, you cannot move it. And so now they've done it to go to meeting. Stephen has a question about nuances for ninja traders.
Okay, let me go through that with ninja traders. This is kind of a big deal with ninja traders. And let me open up Ninja 8 because it's really only Ninja 8 that's affected. But let me open it up and I'll show you. Okay, 64.75 down to 65.75 down to 64.75. So I have my sell stop on at 64.50 right now. Okay, there it is right there. Now, the Ninja Trader stuff. Hold on a sec. Okay. Now, I'm going to try to keep my eye on this over here because I really think it's going to go down and put in a new swing low. And let me put my DOM back on top. Yeah, 63.50 is where it's going to go. But at least 63.50. All right, anyway, for Ninja Traders, you right click, you go to indicators, and click that, add it twice. Okay, add it twice. Oh, oops, remove that one. Add that twice. And on one of them, you have to, well, on one of them, see on bar close right here, the one on bar close, you want to go all the way down here to the YBR and make sure that it's the right color. On the other one, you don't want to calculate on bar close. You want that one to calculate on each tick. But on that one, go down here and make the YBR transparent. Okay, right in here, you would go all the way up to the top is where transparent is. There it is. Make it transparent. Okay, and that's it for Ninja Trader. Really, that's all you have to do. I got to change my order right now because we have a high of 66.25, so we're gonna have a low of 65.25. So I'm gonna bump it up a couple of ticks. But that's really it for Ninja. And then, this is gonna be a lot of processing. So if you want to shut anything off on the one that is on bar close, there's the down close at 65.25. I'm just going to jump in right here. I just did. If you want to shut things off on the one that is on bar close, you can go in there and and pick at the things that you don't want to have turned on. Okay, but that is it. Here it goes. Hang on a sec. Let me minimize that. And I'm short 4 right now from 65.25. Where is it going to go? It's going to go down here. Now it looks like it's going to go down here to 64. Okay, but I have my 8 ticks risk in place. And what time is it? 2:28. Okay. Clayton, hang on. This is just awful. I used to be able to discover the new GoToMeeting charts. I like the old one. I used to be able to separate the chat box so I could stretch it out and see all the questions that are coming in. Let me scroll up because I think I'm seeing parts of questions here. And Gordon, hang on, let me go up. It is being recorded. Yeah, you want to see the 1 and 2 minute charts? Okay, I'll show you that too. That was you, Clayton. The brown line, I answered that one. Odom, I answered your question. Show color close and separation example again. Okay, well, we just had one right here, live, real time. Okay. The philosophy of the YBR is prices pulling against all the indicator direction, basically. Why does it work? Well, it works because it's basically the slingshot theory is, the green line's pulling away from the cycle. The cycle is the longest term indicator that we have on the chart, and the green line is the fastest. So this is the shortest, and this is the longest, and this is the shortest term indicator that we have on the charts. So what you're doing when you have this kind of separation between the green line and the cycle is you're just pulling against the long-term direction. So usually that's going to work out to be just a quick trade, a short pullback. Now the YBR is illustrating that. I color-coded it for you. I color-coded everything for you guys when I wrote it all. But yeah, so right now what I'm waiting for is 4 ticks in profit. Now it should get down here, at least down here to 32.64. We got our pullback. We got our pullback all the way up to the YBR this time, but there. Hang on, I'm gonna bump my stop to break even here in just a sec. There we go. And 32.64 is where it's trying to go right now, but 63.50 is looking pretty hot too. So we should have a good trade set up here. And the green line is all the way down into the cycle, so it's really time for it to pull back and give us another one. So I'm just going to lock in. There's 63.75. There's 63.50. Now, could you guys see that when I pointed it out on the DOM? Did you see why I thought that? Now, that was just reading the DOM. That wasn't reading the charts. Okay. Hang on, I gotta go all the way back down to the bottom. And there are a lot of questions coming in. We have more people in here than we had in the afternoon session today. The 1 and 2 minute charts, yeah. Okay, now that trade was off the YBR from right here. It pulled back up and hit the YBR again. But the reason I took the trade, I mean, I told you I was reading the DOM, and and I was looking at the DOM to see where it was most likely to go. Like right now, it's most likely to pull back up to 32.66, and then go back down to 32.63 and a quarter. But the pullback point is what I'm looking at right now. 32.66 is looking pretty hot. Angle and color of the cycle doesn't matter. Hang on, Joan. The color of the cycle doesn't matter. The angle, I don't like to go against, a cycle that's going down really steep. I wouldn't want to go long right here, right in here. Okay, and you see how we had blue on the YBR? We had a little bit of bullish separation, but that thing was going down really steep, so I didn't want to do anything right there. Now, how far back did we pull? 65 so far. It's going to get up 66 is what I'm thinking. But I mean, is there a trade setup right here? Well, using the normal things that we do in the room in the morning, no, because we didn't put in a lower swing. Using the YBR, well, you saw me just grab, I don't know how many ticks, but I had 4 contracts on. And I ended up with 27 ticks out of that. Let's see, 27. And this is such a simple thing. You don't have to worry about the trend, which is something that messes people up most of the time in the morning session. Establishing whether they got a higher high and a lower low, or a lower high and a higher low, or establishing the trend is difficult for people in the morning session. But this is really simple, and you actually enter the trade, Tim, put a sell stop on, like I just did over here on this one. I had a sell stop on, and it actually closed down, but it didn't fill my sell stop, and then it pulled back, so I jumped in 1 tick better than my sell stop was. Okay. I think, Ray, I answered your question. Deb, Clayton, I did that. I did show the slingshot. I answered that. Is the YBR more accurate when the bars are not touching it or too close to it? It doesn't have to touch it, and there's really no difference in accuracy. Crude YBR? No. Yes, there is a crude YBR right now. I'll throw something on over there too. Okay. There is a crude YBR. It's also a bounce off the BBC. And with the ES going down, that was at 236 that was asked. Transparent on the one that is on each tick for NinjaTrader 8. Okay, the one that's on each tick, where the bar calculates on each tick. Okay. All right. I think I answered all the questions. Now I can stop the recording right here and go back and answer Bill's question, because it wasn't related to the YBR stuff.